Most men spend years accidentally training themselves to become forgettable and never realize why. The most attractive men aren't obsessed with attention, they're obsessed with mastery. Most men completely misunderstand what makes a man attractive. They think it's looks, money, status, genetics. It's not. Most men are accidentally training themselves to feel forgettable every single day. Nervous energy, emotional reactions, weak posture, no discipline, no control over their habits, and the worst part is, they think nobody notices. But people feel it immediately, and what most men never realize is that they are signaling weakness long before they ever speak. Because attraction is not built from appearance first, it's built from signals. The way you handle pressure, the way you speak, the way you enter a room, the way you behave when life becomes difficult. Most men spend years trying to look confident instead of becoming capable. That's why so much modern masculinity feels performative. Loud opinions, forced dominance, constant validation seeking. But the men people naturally respect almost never behave that way. Skill 1. Emotional control under pressure. Most men think confidence is something you project. That is the wrong model entirely. Real confidence is something people feel from you, and the clearest signal of it is how you behave when life becomes difficult. Research on leadership perception shows that men who remain visibly calm under pressure are rated 40% more trustworthy and capable than men who react emotionally in identical situations, regardless of outcome. Pressure, conflict, uncertainty. These are tests of self-mastery that happen in public, in real time, without warning. Skill 2. Articulate communication. Most men assume that what they say matters more than how they say it. Research in communication psychology shows the opposite. Delivery, pacing, and composure account for significantly more of a listener's perception than the content itself. A man who speaks slowly, clearly, and with intention feels intelligent before he has said anything profound. He listens fully instead of waiting for his turn. He makes eye contact. He stays present. He does not rush to fill the silence because he's not afraid of it. That restraint is where sophisticated communication lives, not in verbal dominance or trying to be the most interesting person in the room, but in making other people feel genuinely heard. The man who communicates with composure signals intelligence, self-awareness, and emotional maturity simultaneously. He does not perform with confidence. He demonstrates it through how he holds a conversation. And this is exactly why some men completely shift the atmosphere of a room without trying. Skill 3. Martial arts and physical discipline. Most men who train in martial arts will tell you that fighting is almost secondary. What the training actually builds is something harder to develop. Discipline applied under genuine pressure. Martial arts teach restraint before aggression, humility before ego, emotional regulation before reaction. Studies on practitioners of consistent martial arts training show measurable improvements in stress response, impulse control, and composure in non-training situations within 8 to 12 weeks of regular practice. And over time, that internal discipline reshapes everything external: posture, eye contact, the way a man moves, the way he enters a room. Real strength does not need constant proof. A man who has trained seriously carries a particular kind of calm that people register immediately and almost never consciously identify. That calm is the signal. Skill 4. Building the body with intention. A strong physique has never been purely about aesthetics. It is evidence. Evidence that a man can commit to something genuinely difficult, stay consistent long after motivation disappears, and hold himself to standards when no one is watching. Research on first impressions consistently shows that physical fitness is read as a proxy for discipline, self-respect, and reliability. Not because people are judging muscle, but because they are reading commitment. Fitness teaches delayed gratification in one of the purest available forms: showing up when tired, eating with intention, building habits that most people discuss, but never sustain. And over time, the body reflects those standards back. not just aesthetically, but in energy, posture, and presence. That is why building your body becomes attractive. Not because perfection is attractive, because self-respect is. Skill 5. Style, grooming, and taste. Most men think style is about clothes. It is actually about editing. Before a man speaks, people have already processed dozens of signals. How he carries himself, how intentional his presentation feels, how much care he has invested in the details. Research on social perception shows that grooming and presentation quality significantly influence trustworthiness and competence ratings within the first 7 seconds of visual contact. A refined man understands that grooming is not vanity, it is self-respect made visible. Clean skincare, a subtle fragrance, clothes that fit, restraint over excess. But here's the part most men completely overlook. Skill 6, creativity and artistic expression. Creative men feel different because they see differently. Whether it is music, photography, writing, design, or film, artistic engagement develops something most people actively suppress: the ability to sit with complexity, process it honestly, and express something real about it. Skill 7, intellectual depth and self-awareness. Most men react to life. The man who thinks deeply learns to respond to it instead, and that gap between reaction and response is where real maturity lives. Reading philosophy, psychology, and history builds perspective that cannot be acquired any other way. Research on decision-making quality shows that men who engage in regular reflective reading demonstrate measurably better judgment under pressure, lower emotional reactivity, and stronger long-term outcomes across relationships and career. Self-awareness is not a personality trait. It is a developed capacity. The man who understands his own patterns, biases, and impulses stops being controlled by them. And that internal control becomes visible in everything. How he speaks, how he decides, how he carries himself when life becomes difficult. Wisdom over ego is not a philosophy. It is a daily practice. And the men who build it move through the world differently in ways everyone feels, but almost no one can name. None of this requires different genetics or a different personality. Real attraction is built through repetition. Every habit you repeat teaches the world how to experience you. Your standards become visible long before you speak. Most men spend their lives chasing attention without realizing they train themselves to be overlooked. The rare man builds habits that make respect inevitable. The question is, which one are you becoming?